Souls, Tulsa. You all are looking beautiful this morning, and it is wonderful to see you and to be with you. I am so grateful for your senior minister, the Reverend Marlon Lavinar. Marlon, you are a tremendous colleague. You are a tremendous colleague and a powerful pastoral and prophetic leader for our faith in this time. Thank you for your ministry. And indeed, all of you here at All Souls, this ministry, this congregation, your fabulous ministry team, including Reverend Barbara Prose, Gerald Davis, Bishop Pearson, Shannon Boston, David Smith, Rick Fortner, Stephen Williams, and M. Kianka, your whole team, these and more, and so many other leaders in this congregation. You are leaders in this time in our faith of trying to rebirth a new era, a new imagining, a new practice of Unitarian Universalism grounded in love, rooted in our theology, and living out a diverse, multicultural, anti-racist, anti-oppressive practice of beloved community. And it is good to be together this morning. Now, I gotta say, it is an incredible honor to serve as president of your Unitarian Universalist Association. This is the association created by our over 1,000 congregations that covenant together to support one another. And I'm grateful to all of you, to each and every one of you, the members, the friends, the leaders, the visitors, the youth, the children, the families, everyone who is a part of this liberating faith. For these days that we are living in, they give us constant reminders of how much our faith matters and how much it is needed. For ours is a life-affirming, life-changing, life-saving faith. And I know this personally. That's right. I know this personally. Because when I was 5 years old, Unitarian Universalism first saved my life. When I was 5 years old, the people, the ministry, and two very special religious education teachers. Can we just give a little shout out for our RE teachers? Woo-hoo! In the ministry they do, well, two very special RE teachers at Elliott Unitarian Chapel in St. Louis, where I grew up, dramatically changed the course of my life. You see, when I was young, my family was falling apart. Now, a more accurate word would be erupting. There were a lot of reasons for it. One was because it was the mid-'70s. My mom had become a feminist, got active in the ERA movement, and my dad, well, he had not signed up for that. And so those times of reckoning in our society were times of reckoning in my own household, and required a full renegotiation of my parents' marriage, and that was not easy nor quick. What it meant was that as a child, my home was not a peaceful or joyful place. But I have another powerful memory from my childhood, and that is of my kindergarten Sunday school class. The class was taught by a newly but not young married couple. And what I remember still to this day, I can feel the memories in my body, was how much they seemed to love each other and how much fun we had. They would play guitar and sing, and we kids would dance and sing along, and it was joyful. And wow, did I need that joy. I wrapped it around me. It was once a week for an hour for a few months in my life. But it stayed with me, as did my love for those two people. Now, to be clear, too many children experience much worse. And studies increasingly show how these early childhood experiences can affect our long-term health outcomes, including the development of addiction and mental illness. And not all stories have such good outcomes. But studies also show the outsized difference that a great teacher, a caring mentor, the small presence of real love can make in the lives of children who experience pain, neglect, or trauma growing up. This Sunday school class, even though I did not have words for it nor fully understand its impact until many years later, it showed me that something else was possible in a marriage, that something else was possible for a family, that something else was possible for me. And that glimpse of possibility, that gift of joy and love, it gave me hope, and it sowed seeds that shaped my life. Now, I share this story with you with the permission of my parents, for they know it well, although a different side of it, to be sure. But they even found their way through those many painful years to build a marriage in partnership and mutuality. And that, too, is a testament to the life-saving good news of Unitarian Universalism. Here's the thing about our congregations. They can be places of transformation in small and large ways. When we are able to be communities of joy and love, we unlock possibility and hope in people's lives. Our congregations help us imagine something different for our own lives, something better for our world. Now, truthfully, this faith, our congregations, our people, have saved my life again and again, and I don't say that frivolously or lightly. Unitarian Universalism taught me courage. It taught me to take risks for what is right, to not be afraid to speak for my values, even if I am a lone voice. It taught me, and it continues to teach me every day, to love fearlessly, boldly, and abundantly, and to remember the life-saving power that is joy and community. And finally, it gave me a most precious gift. It gave me a religion that made it clear that the work of justice is inseparable from a faith rooted in love. The work of justice is inseparable from a faith rooted in love. This notion that our theology is inseparable from the work of justice is deeply rooted in our history. You see, our Universalist forebears, they didn't believe in hell, except for the one that we create in this life, through conditions like poverty, exploitation, racism, and sexism. This is where hell lives, right here in our lives. And so as Unitarian Universalists, we are called to bring a powerful form of love to confront the conditions that create hell. Our Universalist forebears, they understood that salvation is collective, and it's not about the afterlife, it's about right here and now. This is our work as people of faith. And so today, in the face of an onslaught of injustice and loss, Unitarian Universalism and our congregations continue to be a way of fighting back against despair, fighting back against acquiescence to systems of oppression by providing courage and providing hope. But I want to make something really clear because this is so important. The hope that Unitarian Universalism provides is not a guarantee that everything will just be all right. That would be a hope that only seeks to mollify us, and that is not what we need right now. Instead, hope, powerful, active hope, the kind of hope that feeds courage, is found in the fact that despite the reality of our circumstances, we still have some choice in how we will show up, in how we will give, in how we will love. Hope is found in a religion that nurtures the fullness of our humanity. A religion that understands our capacity for great compassion and terrible cruelty, because both live within us as human beings. A religion that understands our capacity for altruism and for greed, and which teaches us and fosters in us the choice, the practice, and the strength to choose love. As Dr. King writes in The Strength to Love, He says, if the church will free itself from the shackles of a deadening status quo and recovering its great historic mission, will speak and act fearlessly and insistently in terms of justice and peace, it will enkindle the imagination of humankind and fire the souls of people everywhere, imbuing them with a glowing and ardent love for truth and justice and peace. Now listen for how King is connecting our mission as the church to enkindling the imagination, the possibility, the creative and loving energy of humankind. That is where hope and courage and possibility for our future live. We are living in a moment that reflects the very choice that King lays bare before us. For as humanity faces dramatic challenges of climate disruption and global migration, we hear the rhetoric of scarcity, isolation, and walls grow. This is fundamentally a reactionary response, believing that the failing status quo can somehow be restored, however unjust, rather than responding from a sense of mission and possibility that honors and affirms our common humanity and helps us imagine a new path forward. And this breaks my heart, my friends. Because when we approach the challenges of our days with fear and scarcity, we shut down possibility and we close off our hearts to compassion. And more than this, it is a belittling of what is possible in the human spirit and in human ingenuity. We can meet the challenges of our time if we bring our faith and our open-heartedness and our creativity and our imagination to those challenges. But the rhetoric of scarcity shuts us down and closes off our hearts from what's possible. My friends, we were made for love. We were made for community. We were made for joy and possibility. We were made for each other. We were made for life. And that is how we need to respond to these very difficult days. This is why everywhere I go, I lift up the message that this is no time for a casual faith, no time for a casual commitment to what you hold most dear in your heart. And this is no time to go it alone. Our communities, our churches can and need to be places of authentic connection and collective inspiration, places where we can bring our real heartbreak, our anguish, our anger, even our fears, and be held and renewed in a community of joy and love, worshiping communities of real spiritual depth that help us glimpse the possibility of who we can be as human beings so that we might show up every day in our lives with that humanity and with that possibility and that love. Communities that answer the call to beloved community by building one another up and by organizing and partnering to resist the exploitation of people and the planet. You know, the challenges before us as a nation, they are quite literally life and death. They're life and death for Muslims and for Jews. We've seen that so clearly. They are life and death for Black and brown people, for immigrants and refugees, for trans folks and women, and our healthcare and our bodies and our lives. Life and death for children, for those with disability, and for those living in poverty. The list of people under threat who are losing opportunity and rights continues to grow. And right now, we need to work harder to protect one another and our core institutions, because the beloved community is about providing that safe space for a child who needs a break from a troubled home, just as it is about providing sanctuary for a family that is fighting desperately to stay together. The call to beloved community is about both the internal and the external. It's about the radical care and ministry within and the powerful actions for justice beyond. And following this calling to beloved community is the difference between our congregations being mere social clubs and actually being the church that we were created to be and that our ancestors left for us. And I dream of what it would mean to unlock this calling to the beloved community, to unlock this calling to bring our bravest, our boldest, and our most loving selves, to love the hell out of this world in old universalist fashion, right? Because we cannot build a better world. We cannot change the fundamental structure of our world without love as a foundation. If we do not bring the fullness of our humanity to this work, we just recreate structures that exploit and do harm. There is so much more possible for us as human beings if we can just open our hearts to that. And I believe that what has most led to the decline of institutional religion is that too many congregations and faith institutions grew complacent and bound by what King called the shackles of a deadening status quo. Too many failed to act up, to speak out as we were losing ground in this country. Because we've been losing ground for a generation on voting rights, on racial equity, and on poverty. Too often the church has remained silent or ineffective or just too comfortable and privileged. That just won't cut it. We must reclaim our great historic mission to be the moral conscience, the moral and faithful conscience of this country and never its tool. There is power in our institutions as Unitarian Universalists if we are but willing to use it and leverage it and even sacrifice for it. And I see you all here. I see you all here at All Souls. I see you living this powerful mission, a call to beloved community right here. And we as an association are watching you. We are praying with you, knowing that you are seeking to be leaders in racial justice and healing in your own community. I believe that you too, like me, are dreaming a new day for this faith, a faith for the 21st century. And investing in our congregations is one of the most powerful ways that we make a difference in people's lives and in our world today. We cannot take this, we have to take this seriously, because what we do in our congregations fundamentally is about what we build up. It's about what we build up and nurture in our children, in our own lives, and in our families. And I see you in this path. And even as you work on this moving to a new location, I want to remind you that the power of your community, of your beloved community, is not in your building, right? It is in the ministry and the work of healing and love and community that you nurture within and beyond your walls. It's about our whole lives comprehensive sexuality program that saves lives every day and teaches all children 100% consent 100% of the time. It teaches our children respect for their bodies. It teaches a healthy sense of agency and the sacred beauty of the spectrum of sexual orientation and gender. It's about the ways we show up for each other in our times of need, in loss and heartbreak, and care and comfort one another. It's about how we teach love in the face of fear, and how we celebrate the wisdom of religious pluralism in this time of growing nationalism and religious extremism. This matters. It's about how we show up inside with love in our yellow shirts to support human rights in the community, and the way we respond in times of disaster. You know, I don't know if you heard this story, but after that awful shooting at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando, it was your sibling Unitarian Universalist congregation that opened its doors for the trauma responders. And so it was the Unitarian Church where people could go to get pastoral care after that awful tragedy. And it's also where the first responders could go for respite and care themselves. The value of our congregations and who we are within the larger community is measurable in many ways, but it has an impact far beyond what we can ever measure. So I got a question for you. What do you think is the most important way that you can support the mission, the vitality, and the health of Unitarian Universalism? It is right here through your support of this congregation, your generosity, your commitment, your leadership right here, your belief and faith in this mission, because this is where it is in our congregations where people find Unitarian Universalism and are saved by it and held by it so they might go out in the world and work for justice. Now is the time for us to give in new ways to our life-saving, life-affirming communities. You know, the members of Elliott Chapel, where I grew up, I got to go back after I was elected president and say thank you to them. And I said to them, you had no idea that your support of the congregation was saving my life in this RE classroom. Just like that, you all are saving people's lives and making a difference in the lives of families and children and elders, folks whose stories you will never fully know. What we build in our communities is a force to be reckoned with, a great force for good. And you all make that happen right here. You all souls are also among our most generous congregations to the UUA, to your larger association, which means that you are helping me and the UUA make a difference in the lives of Unitarian Universalists you'll never meet and in the lives of congregations that you will never set foot in. In times of challenge and need, the UUA is there to help support congregations, to prepare the leaders we need for this 21st century ministry, and to advance our values on a national and international level. And so I want to thank you more than anything. I want to thank you for your commitment to this congregation and the ministry that it provides not just to all of you, but to our larger faith. Indeed, these times are calling for all of our congregations and for all of us as Unitarian Universalists to recover our prophetic zeal and our great historic mission to nurture the possibility and the practice of the beloved community and to love the hell out of this world. Right? May we answer this call together. Blessed be and amen.
You're visiting with us online today. We love connecting with people all across the country and around the world, sharing our powerful message of love beyond belief.
There's something new happening here. You can now join All Souls as a virtual member. Our virtual membership is designed for friends who live outside of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and who want to engage with All Souls in a meaningful way.
You can be part of an expanding family, a global family really, wherever you are. If you live in Oklahoma,
Ohio,
or Orange County, California,
Canada,
or Cameroon. By becoming a virtual member, you'll be able to deepen your connections with members and friends here in Tulsa and with members wherever you are.
Each week, you'll receive special All Souls content tailored for you, our virtual members. Virtual members have access to pastoral care, to personal prayers, and also receive invitations to exclusive web events.
You can learn more, and if you're ready, you can become a virtual member today by visiting allsoulschurch.org/virtual membership.
We're grateful our ministries are having a positive impact on your life, and we want to share the good news of love beyond belief with more and more people. So no matter what, we need your support to keep this ministry growing and thriving, so please consider making a gift today. You can do so by texting
Love BB for Love Beyond Belief to 73256 or simply visit our website. You are a blessing in our lives. May you be blessed.
And be a blessing.